Welcome back to round 2 coverage on SpinTV. It's the 2019 United States Disc Golf Championship. I'm Jamie Thomas, and once again, I'll be joined by Ken Climo, the 5-time U.S. champion himself. The staff is the cornerstone of the USDGC experience that players and fans alike have come to know and love, seen here in our Heritage Series.
One of the largely unheralded traditions in the wider disc golf world is one of its most special. At the opening ceremony preceding the USDGC, the Golden Rake is bestowed upon a volunteer staff member who exemplifies the attitudes of selflessness and dedication to the task at hand. That task is transforming the idyllic corner of Winthrop University's campus into what is locally referred to as the Championship. In a de facto Volunteer Hall of Fame induction ceremony, past honorees are called to the stage, greeted by the fraternity of U.S. champions in a heartwarming display of mutual camaraderie and appreciation. One group grateful for bringing the vision of the championship to life each autumn for the past 2 decades. The other appreciative of the legendary feats of flight required to conquer Winthrop Gold. The volunteers are the lifeblood of the final major of the disc golf season, whose heartbeat is as strong and steady as ever.
And welcome back to SpinTV's coverage of the 2019 United States Disc Golf Championship. Once again, I'm Jamie Thomas, Ken Climo by my side here for round 2. How you doing, champ?
Doing great. Looks like it's going to be another scorcher out there today, Jamie.
It certainly was, and we have a phenomenal card lined up for you today as we get started on what is now known as the Winthrop Arena. Very happy to be presenting this coverage. Thank you to all the camera operators, SpinTV, out there doing all the hard work. We've got Chris Clemons, the lanky lefty, in first place with an 8-down start. Simon Lizotte, the crowd favorite and phenom who we saw yesterday on our feature card coverage. Drew Gibson out of Fair Oaks, California, looking to make his mark at yet another major. And Nathan Queen, the local boy from Raleigh, North Carolina.
So hole 1 is last year's hole 3 and the new face of the USDGC to start the tournament. Players will have the option to swing it out wide or throw straight at the basket. Either way they go, when Andy Green, the starter for 20 years, calls their name, they'll need to be ready to throw a great shot. In the past, the hole was easier. Now the course will demand more than it ever has right away.
And certainly a nerve-wracking start on this new Winthrop Arena, but still a very gettable hole.
For sure. These gladiators definitely want to start out on a good foot here.
And each of them, as you'll see, tied for second place. Lizotte, Gibson, and Queen. Chris Clemons here with a 1-stroke lead to start.
Smooth, powerful out to then trusting his disc out over the out-of-bounds area, the hazard area, and getting the nice little skip in there. That should be easy work from there.
And he was unafraid to let that carry over hazard the whole way, and he's going to be rewarded with a pretty easy birdie putt.
Don't see too many of these guys miss from that range.
And Simon, look to see if he can correct a little bit from what we saw yesterday.
A little low out of the hand. Got a little bit too much turn on it. It's very similar to yesterday's shot. Not quite as deep in there, but it's not ideal, but he's got to look at it.
Certainly punched through the corner there, and at least he has the look this time. Yesterday, he was pretty much forced to start his USDGC tournament with a par. He's got a little more control of his destiny here, and Drew Gibson next to throw.
Most likely a mid-range, keeping out to the right, not challenging the hazard area. Ooh, takes a big skip. That traveled a long way.
High RPM on that shot as he flipped it up to flat and, make the mistake long like we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, that right side can get a little skippy if you're speedy through there.
Nathan Queen getting some love from the South Carolina fans here. He's from not too far away in a place where I went to college, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Liking his choice of headgear here. It's a carbon copy of the other left-handed throw there, and they're going to be tap-in birdies to start the round here.
Simon, tricky from the knee.
Looks like he's over-snapped the wrist a little bit, had a low ceiling, just put it a little to right of the basket. Easy par to start.
Plenty of power on it. And here's Drew from, looks to be about 9 meters deep.
Yeah, just inside the circle. Oh, needed about an inch and a half for that one to be in. Good line, just a hair short. We've all done that many times.
Yeah, especially if you come right off that putting green. Probably made 100 putts in the hour leading up to this, and you just hate to see that first one not drop.
And it's crazy how the first hole kind of sets the tone a lot of times for your day. Maybe not so much for how you're throwing it, but the putting. If you happen to miss a 25, 30 foot on your first hole, it just gets in your head and you have a hard time shaking it for the rest of the day. Hopefully that doesn't happen to Drew.
And then Chris Clemons and Nathan Queen both getting the birdies there. We will be right back.
The partnership between the United States Disc Golf Championship and Edge Disc Golf has allowed us to introduce disc golf to more than 6,000 students in its history. Edge reached a milestone this year by providing over 100,000 discs to PE programs.
Excellent partnership between the championship and the Edge program. It's always a joy to see the kids throwing those discs into the chains out in the Edge Village.
Right, and the bus is full, and they're just everywhere, clapping the players on and cheering them on. And yeah, the future of the sport lies in the hands of the kids.
Absolutely here, champ. We've got this par 4, the U-turn hole, as we're going to pass right by the Mando here. This is the ideal landing zone, and then a little tricky navigation.
Yeah, I think what makes this hole a little tougher than it could be is just the little undulations, the ups and the downs and the fall-offs, and the slightly uphill into the green makes it not quite get as good a skip as you think it's going to get. It's got weird angles there.
Yeah, 444 feet, but that's not in a straight line, obviously, so going to take a little manipulation here. Clemons to lead off.
Yeah, with the Mando in play, I think this plays more like 550. You throw it out there about 375, and then you've got another 175 feet to the basket.
And Clemons just beating that one little tree at the corner there. That's going to put him in a nice spot.
A little bit of an advantage to be lefty here because you can duck into the right and get a big flare skip and get way down in there, just kind of like this one's doing. But you got to make sure you're just past the Mando as he is. If you're short of that, it kind of ruins the hole for you. But lefties have a distinct advantage on this hole.
Yeah, great shot there by Nathan Queen. Oh, man. Simon, we saw him go with that roller yesterday, and he's kind of 0 for 2 on it.
Yeah, he's not hitting his mark, that's for sure. I don't know exactly why he's choosing to do that, because I know he can throw a straight shot out there and have a fairly easy sidearm into the pin if he wanted to. He's going for that extra 40 feet that you really don't need on this hole. You just need to throw it out somewhere where you have a shot.
And speaking of an extra 40 feet, Drew Gibson once again strong off the tee with that snap.
He's confident in his lines, and he's definitely following through fully.
Good forehand to the lower part. A little bit of valley there by the Mando.
That's a great escape shot. He's put it in the perfect spot to get up and down after making a very lackluster tee shot.
Here's Drew. He's going to need to flex this one pretty hard.
It's a little bit low, and once again, like that ground just doesn't want to move if your disc is flat. You have to have a really steep angle on that one to get it to skip around in there, and that basket is around the corner, a good 30 feet, so it's tough to park.
Here's a nice spike angle from Chris Clemons, but that's going to come up a little short too, and both of those guys are going to have decisions to make on the green here.
Yeah, green slopes away, and it can run away from you a little bit if you get a little juicy on your putt. Once again, hangs up on the outside. I don't know how many times we've seen that through the years. The disc does just not want to go into that hole in the bush, the circle of bushes. It just wants to hang near the mouth.
And Simon, not the start he'd envisioned last night after the way he played round 1.
Much steeper angle there, and gets a little bit better roll, but you can see the disc just wants to get eat up by the ground there and not move much.
And Nathan will be in the best position of the 4. There's Simon, another low ceiling.
Strong bid. Good confident run at it. Just a little high.
Drew. Oh, that's a dirty miss right there.
Little left side chains and flipped over upside down when they hit the rim. It's a little bit more of a miss than it is a bad break of a spit out.
And Chris Clemons leaving his a little short as well. That's leaving strokes on the table for Nathan here.
Oh, it's like there's a anti-plastic magnet there at the basket for this group.
Yeah, that is not how any of them drew it up on paper when they went into that hole. And that is going to be a bogey for Simon, par for Clemons. It looks like Nathan and Drew will take pars as well through the U-turn hole here, and we're going to move on to one of the two brand new holes, new pin position. So this will be the first time any of the players have competed on this particular layout. Dealer's choice off the tee. We've seen rollers, we've seen big air shots, pretty much whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got the distance to get out there, I think the air shot is the better place. It's a little more controllable on where you end up. But if you don't have the distance, I think the roller is a really good option because you can get a few more feet out of the roller and get out there. We have a shot through, just throw through the double mando to the pin to try and make your birdie, which is a tough hole to birdie.
And once again, that green does play as safe. It's just a different kind of surface, and no bunker quite as close as to that A pin.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be seeing that hazard bunker come into play too much today.
Pretty routine hyzer from Clemons right here.
Yeah, a bit wide of the mark, so he's going to have to make a big choice there, whether he wants to try and punch through that mando. Being lefty, it is a little bit of an advantage to be short. If you're short and right-handed, backhanded, it's a tough shot getting through there and all the way back to the pin.
And that's good commitment on there. Flips that one up, gets an extra ride to flat.
They're in pretty similar positions. They'll have similar choices when they get to their lie.
And here is Drew Gibson going big.
Wow, that thing's smashed. That needs to get down or it's going to get across the line there. Oh my goodness. Whew.
Almost flies the mando in air.
Boy, would that have been special had that went through there. My goodness.
Wow, he might just do it in one of these later rounds too. We'll have to see, but he will miss the mando, go to a drop zone. Not the worst thing.
Yeah, it's a fairly favorable drop zone. It's past the mando trees. You're actually putting, kind of a long putt at the basket to save a 3. Even having missed the mando, you can still make birdie with a spectacular shot.
And Simon still rolling. My goodness.
Where are you going? He's going to play the golf hole. See it there ahead? He's trying to tap out on that one.
That's what his problem is. He's on a different course than the rest of these guys right now.
This looks like a layup. Yeah, that's pretty prudent play from as far back as he was. You just don't want to make a mistake here and take a bogey.
And here's Simon. Looks like a layup from this angle as well.
He's thrown it so far past the double mando, he has to throw a hyzer, right-handed backhand hyzer in for the layup.
Not the typical play. Let's see what Nathan Queen can make happen.
He's going for it with the speed on that disc and fades out a little right, but he's made it through, so he's got a long putt for birdie, and that does have a bit of a drop-off behind it, so you want to be careful with your speed at the basket there.
That's a good confident throw for his second shot. This is Simon's third.
Left it in a great spot to make his upshot and walk away with an easy 4 at this point.
Yeah, although we really haven't... We've seen Simon not get off to the greatest of starts. It could be worse. He managed to kind of clean this one up a little bit.
I think they're discussing where Drew plays his next shot from. I do believe it's that blue dot on the ground, which is the drop zone. Even you get to go forward of the mando that you missed. It's a little bit odd in our sport, but that's the rules for this hole. And he just lays it up because that is a very fast green back there.
Yeah, there's no reason to take too much of that on at the moment, especially because Nathan there was the only one threatening for birdie in the first place.
Man, he had a tough look as shown. He just didn't quite have enough mustard on it. It's hard to put enough speed and height on a putt when you have possibility of going 20 to 25 feet past if you miss everything.
Yeah, and it certainly helps that nobody's going to be 3 for 3 to start or anything like that. You can see the leader right in front of you.
Right, yeah. These the first couple holes are definitely gettable, but 3 and 4 are really hard to birdie, so...
Yeah, shout out to Calvin Heimberg once again. He's tackled the double-double, 2 for 2 so far, just making it look easy.
That's impressive. I wonder if anybody else besides him has birdied that hole through the first 2 rounds.
And you can see there's the first set of double mandos here, and it's only 299 feet. This last set of double mandos just maybe inside of circle 1, that right side mando. And you have to think that the designers made it 299 and not 300 just to mess a little more with these players.
I think so. It's a 200-something foot hole. It makes you want to birdie it that much more. It does play a little uphill, and it's tight, so I'd say it plays more like a 330 type shot.
And Chris not quite getting that hyzer all the way to flat. He's going to kick out to the right side there.
And that is the toughness of this hole. If you throw it fairly straight, but just miss by a little bit, you get a big kick off to the side. And that was a lucky kick. It's kicked back into the fairway. But if you get one of those huge kicks out to the side, it's hard to re-enter the fairway and then progress down the fairway and get closer to the basket, because the trees just make a wall, basically, if you're outside them.
And here is Drew. He's going to meet a similar fate, and this is one of those few holes where you kind of like the tree kick to just sit you down instead of continue to progress forward.
Just don't move very far at all, and you're looking good. I believe he's caught the mando tree on the left. Yeah, there's 2 discs sitting right there.
Yeah, that'll be Simon's blue putter right next to Nathan.
That's a good fortune to not have crossed the mando line. They still have a chance to save par.
Nice follow through there with Nathan, knowing that he can't go past his lie, but he can follow through to the side of it.
Oh, there's a bit of a hold on that sidearm shot. And like I said, he kicked the edge of the tree and went well to the side.
Drew Gibson, who's running the chains, dealing with a theft of his bag recently out in Sacramento area. He's playing with an old bag and some backup discs here at the USDGC.
I saw the post on Facebook, and it's very unfortunate. I see hear and see that happening quite a bit these days, and it's very unfortunate to happen right before a major event.
And how about that trick shot from Simon? That was a full wrist anhyzer, no real arm required.
And that was just to get up and down for bogey. He had to pull off something special.
Yeah, great little helicopter shot there from Chris Clemons from the forehand.
Routine cleanup work from Drew. You don't mind carding a par on this hole. You will walk to the next tee with a smile on your face.
And Simon will take his bogey, as you just mentioned. That'll be a par for Nathan Queen, and should be a par for Chris Clemons as well. Through 4 holes, the lefties are playing solid. They were leading to start and going to continue. And now we move up to hole number 5. Let's see what our designers have in mind for us here.
So hole 5 this year has moved back to the corner in its original position. Last year's position on the dock didn't seem to provide as much excitement as we would have liked. From the corner, players will attack at the water and we'll throw 2 shots, hopefully for a birdie, but now we'll have the opportunity to go for the coveted eagle on the hole. We think emotional engagement and exciting shots is what really makes good course design, and an eagle on hole 5 would be the most emotionally engaging thing we might see on the course all week.
Well, I tell you what, it doesn't matter what tee they play from, an eagle is still a great feat on this hole as we watch Chris Clemons lead the pack.
I actually got to witness one of those today following a friend of mine out there on the course. Someone threw it in the group behind him for an eagle on hole 5.
I believe that was Philip Bartholomew, and UDisc has him pegged at 370 feet. Huge reaction from the gallery, too. We could hear it all the way at the live stage.
And that's funny that it was that guy, because the guy of the group I was following was Charlie Goodpasture, and they were in a playoff at the Augusta Classic a couple weeks ago, and Philip beat Charlie in a playoff to win the A tier there.
So he was just throwing the disc back at him to remind him a little bit during a major. A little gamesmanship, huh?
Kind of another little in-your-face, Charlie.
There you go. Drew Gibson going with the backhand here, turning that one over. Once again, kind of like we saw yesterday, nobody really biting off too much.
Yeah, this tee pad plays a little shorter, I think, than the other pad to the fairway. So you don't need to bite off as much on the tee pad. You just want to be safe and in a good spot to advance it. Because most of these players, I mean, who's really going to go for this green in 2? It's kind of silly, but it has been done.
And here is Simon taking that big spike route over the outside.
Got to get down. Oh boy, that's a little unfortunate. Took a nice bite and then trickle roll.
It's got to have something to do with the record-setting heat that we saw out here at Winthrop today. Hottest day on record.
The ground is as crusty and hard as I've ever seen it out here. You're right. It is. It's like a rock when you're landing with that steep hyzer angle out there.
And Drew, once again, nice and flat, nice and slow.
Plays a little shorter than you maybe would want, but he's got so much distance that it won't be any problem to get across from there.
And Nathan Queen right here, going to play that left edge of the fairway. That's a pretty prime spot.
Yeah, being left-handed, you can just throw out something semi-stable, pretty flat, out to the left of the basket, and know it's going to work its way back in as long as you throw it hard enough.
And Chris?
These look like mid-ranges. They are not messing around. They want to be very accurate on these first two shots and put the disc where it needs to be for you to be able to score the hole. And the third shot's the most important one in this hole, because this is where the strokes can come.
And here's Drew.
Big hyzer inside the Mando tree. That's an interesting approach. Gets it to stick and holds on to the peninsula.
Wow. Bet Simon's asking, what happened to that on my second shot there? Just was able to stick it on the green, putting away from the water, just like you draw it up. And here's Clemons. You got to take the water on most of the way with the lefty hyzer.
You do have to take it on, but you know you're getting that nice cut back to the right at the end if you do.
And that was a bit of a safer play.
It was. You don't need to actually park the hole every time when you're trying to make birdies. You just need to get it in the right positions to make a putt. And these guys are pretty comfortable, circle's edge and just outside, so.
That was not a safe play by Nathan Queen. He took his moment, picked his spot, and he's looking real good for that birdie.
As a player, it's always nice to know that you're in that gimme range, kind of, so it's hard not to want to throw the shot right under the basket.
And Simon, he does not get the mark, the spotter indicating that he never crossed before he hit the water. And this is going sideways quickly on Lizotte.
Yeah, like I said, they can add up quick on this hole if you make a couple mistakes. And he's got that one safe, but he had to play it so far right because he didn't want to make another mistake that he's got a long putt now.
Still has to earn it. Chris Clemons will go first on the green. Nice smooth step putt there.
Wow, that was with authority. He doesn't take much time. This Chris, he's pretty confident in what he's doing. Gets up there and just does it.
It's very even keel. And there was a good confident stroke from Simon. That's good to see.
That's to save double. Needed that one.
There's Drew. He's changed his putting style a lot over the years, going with the straddle.
Really solid base on a straddle putt. If you know the mechanics with the hand and basically the hip movement, it's a pretty good strategy because you're solid based. You're always standing the same. There's not much differential from one putt to the next.
Yeah, Drew was always known as having a putt that would miss low, and I think going to that straddle putt helps him get that height on it, kind of Barry Schultz style.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely one of the great ones that has used that style.
Hole 6. Let's talk about this one. This is Florida representing your home state, the beach, 371 feet. What do you like here?
Shout out to the sugar sand. It makes for an interesting green, doesn't it? Or white, I guess we should call it on this hole.
Yeah, definitely different than you're going to see anywhere else out on the Winthrop Arena. Definitely anywhere else than you're going to see pretty much in the world.
Yeah, this hole's fairly unique to itself.
And here's Chris.
Got a lot of height on it.
Wow, the high flex lefty forehand. This is not the traditional play.
And it hits up into the tree and sits down by the base of that tree. It's going to be a long, tough putt.
And he's in the window between those two trees on the left side. That's not the worst thing that could happen. Nathan's shot heads towards them, but fades just inside to get a little closer.
Being lefty backhand, this is a daunting task on this hole to try and turn one over and get one close in there. So the best he can do is just hope for a just outside the circle putt there.
Yeah, without a 1 in a million shot, you're really not going to get into that gimme range you were talking about unless you throw a shot like this.
Yes, this is one of the few holes that's very righty biased and much easier for a right-handed player.
Drew using the sand to his advantage. Simon, we saw this yesterday, going big spike.
Oh, we saw 4 different shots here and varying results. Catches up a little in that tree and kicks backward, but that stays in, so he's going to have a 75, 80 footer.
Yeah, 4 green flags for the lead card here, and Clemons going forehand runner.
Got a great line on it. Oh, smacks dead center, kicks out left.
Just a little speedy on that forehand. You wonder if he was going for it or just trying to lay up there.
I think with the height and speed he put on that, he was going for it. There's a bit of a backstop behind there. If you see that little wall of sand, he wouldn't have went too far had he flown by, maybe 20 feet. It's about as far as he could have possibly went, so why not go for it there? You got the backstop.
And we can go for it here for Nathan. Just a little bit more on it, but again, that lefty fade keeps him safe from the water.
One of the slowest greens you're ever going to play.
Yeah, Drew Gibson starting to make his presence felt here. He's now only 1 back of Chris, tied with Nathan Queen, still keeping pace. Simon's just trying to right the ship at this moment. And now we move on to the bamboo hole.
So hole 7 is the triple mando and one of the signature holes on the course. Although the wall is artificially constructed, the emotions are real for the player. And what looks like a super simple hole, getting through that gate has proven very, very, very tough for the players. What should be a simple birdie becomes a par or a bogey pretty quickly.
And just that little bit of downhill on this hole can make that top crossbar really tough to navigate.
Yeah, I see people missing left and right more often than they ought to at this skill level. I think it's just because you have to throw it through there. It's demanding that you put it in between there. It makes it much tougher. If it was just an open hole with nothing in the way, these guys would hit the line almost every time. But since you are forced to put it between there, it gets in your brain a little bit.
And then Chris Clemons getting a little lefty love off of the inside crossbar after Drew Gibson missed the mando, not getting that to flip up flat. And just shorted that one a little bit for Nathan Queen. Hyzered early on him.
Yeah, it's not the big mistake where you have to throw an extra stroke on your scorecard, but it's going to make the birdie really tough to get.
And Simon, wow, he's way past the mandatory there. Not too pleased with himself.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect to see 2 of the top card here missing the mando on this hole and having to throw from the drop zone.
And Drew's shown pretty good touch with this forehand on upshots. He's been in tricky scenarios, and you don't see him primarily go for it like that, but he's using it in good spots.
They were a little lenient with the drop zones this year. You can actually try and make a run at the basket, where in years past you had to fight just to get back through the hole, back down to the green from the drop zone, and you'd have to throw it on a sidearm roller or something crazy. They definitely let the player have a chance to save par.
That is a good par save right there from Nathan Queen after probably leaving it a little further away from the pin than he meant to on that forehand. And Simon just taking another bogey here in the early part of this course.
Losing touch with the leaders already. It's going to be hard to get back in it with that start.
The silver lining for him is he's got some open holes on the back that he could probably try to press if he needed to, but it's still really early in this tournament. Chris Clemons, another birdie there.
Man, looking solid, poised, confident.
All right, hole 8. Lots of options on here. This one clocks in just under 700 feet. Another par 4 as the drone is going to fly right through the left side gap. You may see 2 of our players on there, and like we talked about yesterday, Champ, that OB on the left side, it's real sticky.
Yeah, and I think that OB that creeps in there makes this hole play a little longer than its footage. Say it plays more like 730, 740, just because you can't throw your drive way out there without risking that OB. And there's a fence on the right, too, a baseball field over there.
And rest in peace, that large tree that was a great blocker to this pin. Makes it just a little bit easier, so they put up the soldiers.
And most of these players can throw well over 400 feet, but I see most players choosing to throw about 370 feet off of this tee pad just because it's the widest open area and it makes a good entrance to the hallway going down to the basket.
And Clemons with a great little hook around that last tree to miss. Here's Nathan Queen following that line.
There's a lot of little different holes through the trees here, and you can go a myriad of different ways on this hole, and it's kind of cool that you can pick your own poison here.
And Drew, once again, got the hyzer flip game on point today.
A little low, skittles up to the just short of the prime landing area, but he will have a second shot there.
Simon's wide again. Needs some help here.
It's way up there, but like you said, it's a little wide, which pinches off your angle on the next shot.
Drew's going to go to the forehand.
Oh, that needs to roll back out. Oh, he got a little lucky there. And
one of the very few to escape that jail, and right after we complimented him on the forehand, too.
Right? I think it was because he only got about a foot into it that he was able to come out of it.
Yeah, should have been down on a knee, then it would have been better for him.
Look at that, double skip, trickle right inside there, just circle's edge maybe inside it. He's going to have to deal with those marshmallow sticks we've been hearing about.
And Simon...
mozzarella sticks.
Mozzarella sticks. Still hungry this late at night here.
Yeah.
Simon, he agonized over that line for a little while and then finally decided to go with that inside flex. And here's Nathan Queen. That's got some good speed on it.
Yeah, this hole's kind of similar to hole 2, where if you are lefty and you can get that good angle, it tends to skip around there a little better than the sidearm.
And he's just out of the way of those pillars of justice, so he will have a clean look. And there's a quality forehand.
Whoa, look at the flare on that one. Ooh, ran it by the chains.
Not too shabby there from Drew Gibson.
And he catches a soldier.
Yeah, they did their job in that moment.
Yep. And they only penalize the short thrower on this hole. If you get long or pin high with the basket, it's wide open. If you're a little short, you definitely have to putt through those pillars.
As you see there flashing on the bottom of the screen, it's an 18-hole bogey-free streak for Chris Clemons, leader through just about half the course here, going through 8. And he is just, it's not that he's doing anything crazy, he's just making it look routine. We'll be right back. One more hole on the front. One more par 4 on this front 9, the baseball field hole. This one has changed so many times over the years. Move the tee pad left, move the tee pad right, reshape the fairway. Now we're down to the beans.
Yeah, it was this side's inbounds, that side's out of bounds. The next time it was the other side's inbounds, the previous side is out inbounds, and that side's out of bounds, and this hole's morphed so many times. And I kind of like this configuration. It makes you choose whether to be aggressive, not aggressive. If you want to play the hole for par, it's not that hard. Chuck it over to the first bean, throw it up into the second bean, and park it from there. But if you want to get birdie, you have to make the risk. And he needs to stay off that tree lip. Oh, that's very nice. Coming back out past the drop zone. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's a great little baby flex from Chris Clemons there. And certainly this hole doesn't cough up nearly the eagles that it did in years past, where you could kind of get on a roll with 9-10, get a pair of deuces, and really start your roll.
Yeah, I think anybody's hard-pressed to eagle this one. There's an OB line right behind the basket, and if you're chain high flying through, you are going to go long and right past that line. So most people are looking to skip it up on their second shot and be a little short.
And I've been really impressed with Drew Gibson's control through this front 9. He's just, sometimes the height's not been right, but he's really been hitting the line and the angle. Here's the sky roller again from the Sky God.
He did it yesterday. Let's see if he can pull it off again. Yeah, it looks about the same. It's running through there and going out to the end of the second kidney bean. And, just curl up right before that line, would you? Man, you can't walk it out and place it any better than that.
He's earned a well-earned look at birdie if he can execute this upshot coming up. Drew Gibson with the little Michael Joe walk-away there.
He turned around. He was confident. He knew he threw it exactly the way he wanted to. And as I was talking about there, just a bit short of the basket. You do not want to press that back line.
Nathan Queen out to the left side.
Using a hard left to right shot to keep his distance from going too long and staying short of the basket. Perfect shot.
Let's see, Chris.
Same attack mode.
That disc is overstable. Do you see that edge just kind of lean down towards the crown real early in that flight? That comes up short.
This is putter approach from a 700-foot hole.
Yeah, just a little spike putter, kind of like a 56-degree wedge, you know, just putting it right where you need it to be. Oh, good stick, Chris.
He's come out in fuego with the putter, and that's, you know, anytime you're not missing anything with the putter, you're going to play pretty good disc golf.
Oh, Drew finding the weak side, but high and into the chains, dropping straight down on that Winthrop basket.
This has been the same basket for the longest time as I can remember. The Winthrop colors, the Winthrop eagle on it, yes. You normally on this hole has done a bit of a more of a raised pedestal. This year they've got just one little layer of bricks under there.
Nice and easy. Hey, there's a birdie, Simon. Nice job. And that's going to do it. That's 9 holes all in. Don't worry, we've got the back 9 coming right back for you. Ken Climo, Jamie Thomas once again. This is SpinTV's coverage of the 2019 United States Disc Golf Championship. We'll see you guys back on the other side momentarily.